Hey, welcome back to QB's Barbecue and Bakery. I'm Joris. Today we're cooking Nigella inspired spare ribs. So about 6 or 7 years ago, when I started learning how to cook, I got inspired by Nigella Lawson. Who doesn't know Nigella Lawson, right? Everybody knows her. Everybody who's a fan of cooking, of easy recipes, you know Nigella Lawson. So I did a recipe from her book called Express that's called maple chicken ribs. And it's been quite a while since I made that recipe. That got me thinking, what if I gave that recipe a twist on the barbecue? So I'm gonna take you with me on this experiment, because it is an experiment. I'm trying to make the recipe my own, but first let me explain to you what I've done with the kettle. Because when you're cooking on the Weber kettle, and today we'll be cooking on the Weber kettle with the slow and sear, you always have your thermometer on the opposite side of the vent, right? So that means that the temperature gauge here is basically useless, because you'll have your meat on this side, because here are your vents. Now, as you can see, I've added a thermometer. So this is called a mod. I'm gonna see how that works out today. I'm not going to use an iGrill or any other thermometer. I'm going to organize my temperatures according to this thermometer. I'll be aiming for about 120 degrees Celsius, which is about 250 degrees Celsius. So now let's take you to our spare ribs. So to prep the spare ribs for our cook today, I'm going to take you back to yesterday evening. That's the moment that I started assembling the marinade for the spare ribs and put that in the fridge. So cut to yesterday evening. So for our overnight marinade, we are using the following ingredients. We have 250 milliliters of sharp apple juice, 1 slice of fresh ginger, a stick of broken cinnamon, 2 star anise, half a diced red chili, 4 tablespoons of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, this is kikkoman, then vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons, I have here sunflower oil, and then 6 peeled cloves of garlic. We are going to put this all in a Ziploc bag for an overnight marinade. Now here's the star, our, well, baby back rib. It's small, but you know, large enough to feed myself and my daughter. So first we put this in our Ziploc bag, and then it's so simple. We just add all the ingredients. That was our apple juice, now our vegetable oil, then the soy sauce, then the maple syrup. Make sure I get all that goodness. Then we add our garlic, our chili, because sweet is good, but you gotta have a little bit of heat. Then some ginger, and then our cinnamon and star anise. And now we are going to put this in our Ziploc bag. And just to make sure, when you put this in the refrigerator, I put a drip tray beneath it, because we are working here with a bag and with bones that can puncture, so let's be careful. Let's close this Ziploc bag. And then all you need to do is put this meat side down in your refrigerator overnight. And then tomorrow, when we start cooking, we're going to take that out fully marinated. So it's been about 12 to 14 hours. I have my spare ribs here. Let me show you what they look like, because there is a color change because of the marinade. So let's take our ribs out of the packaging. Wow. Huh. Yeah, you can definitely see the color change. That looks amazing. There we go. Now that dark brown color, or that, well, brownish color, is actually a combination of the soy sauce and the maple syrup, and all the spices that we put in. But this will give our spare ribs a nice flavor. And yes, I've said it before, this is not a spare rib, this is a baby back spare rib. Yeah, let's leave it at that. It's small, I know. Move on. Okay, so it's already trimmed. There's the membrane has already been taken off. So let's start prepping our kettle. So as I said, today we'll be cooking on the Weber kettle with the slow and sear. So what I always do in the start is I start with about 8 to 10 briquettes here in the corner of the slow and sear. These are Ecobrasa coconut briquettes. We're going to light them up, and I'm going to use my fire starter. Works better for me in this setup than the normal lighter cubes. So bear with me, it's gonna get a little bit noisy. Wow, I'd say that's hot enough. So let's put the rest of our coals in and our hot water. That is more than enough. Now, because the marinade of our spare ribs is majority apple based, I gotta have some apple wood, right? So let's start with a piece here at the beginning. So now we are going to put our grill grate back on. There we go. And we are going to close this lid. Now I'm going to leave the top vent completely open. My bottom vent is half open. And I'm going to wait until my thermometer here on this side reads about 80 to 90 degrees. Then we're going to close this to a third and the bottom to a quarter. And I forgot to put the water in. So let's put the water in. And now we can close the lid. So we locked in our temperature. We are at 120 degrees, 110, 120 degrees Celsius on the indirect side. Time to put on our spare rib. Now you want to be quick when you do this because you don't want to let all the oxygen come into your briquettes, because then you get a temperature spike. So let's open it up, put our spare rib in, close the lid. The sun has started shining on this September Sunday afternoon. Our meat's on. I'm gonna give this about 2.5 hours, 3 hours in the smoke. And then I'm gonna look if I need to wrap it or not. I'll probe to see how tender it is after about 2.5 to 3 hours. So what's next to do? Grab a beer, chill. So while our spare rib is cooking on the Weber kettle, by the way, still 120 degrees Celsius, super stable. I told you I'm gonna make my own twist to this recipe. Because there's no rub on the spare ribs, and I do want to give them, you know, a bit of a glaze or a sauce. But the traditional barbecue sauces, they don't really blend well with this type of marinade. So I decided to get my own marinade, or make my own marinade. So what I did is I took about a cup of apple juice, then 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, then 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, and then I added 1 tablespoon of 5 spice, then just a hint of a teaspoon of chili flakes, and then 1 twist of ground garlic, and then I season to taste with salt. And what you end up with, if you put that in a pan and you boil it and you reduce it, you end up with this beautiful apple spicy sticky glaze. I'll bring you in for a closer view. There you go. You see how that sticks to the bowl? That is nice and sticky. Now this takes a while to reduce, but when it does, it becomes all kinds of apple delicious. So you could say that we are in a triple apple spare rib thing. So we're at 2.5 hours into our cook. I'm gonna check on our spare ribs to see if they've got a nice brown mahogany color of our smoke. And then we're gonna wrap them with a little bit of our glaze for the braise effect. Wow. Look at that color. That is amazing. I think if you can see that. Look how beautiful brown that is. Put a little bit of our glaze here. And over our spare ribs. Meat side down. And let's cover the back side. So now let's give this a wrap. Careful not to puncture. And then let's put that back on our barbecue. And we'll give that another hour. So it's been about an hour since we put our ribs back on the Weber kettle wrapped. So time to see if these are tender. We might have something here. Now remember, it's not about temperature as much as it is about being tender. Yeah. Oh. Like butter. Beautiful. So let's put these back on our kettle. Then we're going to give this maybe once more in about 10 minutes. And then it's time to taste. So it's been about 15 minutes since we put our first coat on of that glaze. Yeah, that looks amazing. Let's give it another coat and then wait another 15 minutes. And then it's time to eat. So it is time. We are on the mark. I'm gonna check out the ribs It's been 30 minutes of glazing. I'm super excited. Let me bring the camera in when we do the reveal so you can have a first peek at our triple apple glazed spare ribs. There we go. Let's lift that lid. Wow, look at that color. Seriously, that is gonna taste epic, I just know it. Let's put it on the board and do some testing. So in this household, we have another big spare ribs fan. You've seen her before, my little girl, Josephine. She loves apples, she loves spare ribs. What if you put them together? You want to find out?
Yes.
Good. Let's flip this one over.
It looked very, very delicious.
Ooh, thanks, baby. So,
Cube is forever.
yeah. Look at that smoke ring.
Whoa.
You see the orange smoke ring? The pink?
Yes.
Are they juicy?
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're dripping. They're absolutely
It's very
gorgeous. Wow. So let's
taste.
let's taste. Or should we give them a close-up of how good the spare ribs look?
Yes.
Yes, let's do that. I mean, look at this. Look at how juicy these ribs look. I mean, come on. That's amazing, right? So, enough of the show and tell. Time for the taste. So, Josephine, here you go.
Ah. Cheers.
Wow.
Wow. It's juicy, it's very, very delicious.
Thank you, baby. Wow. Yeah, you can definitely taste the apple.
Yes.
Yeah. Huh? You can smell it. So, just keep eating, baby. Do we say this is a success?
Yes.
Repeat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
It's very delicious.
Yeah, good. So, we're just gonna keep eating, I think. So these are my Nigella Lawson's inspired triple apple glazed spare ribs. I think it's a huge success. I'm gonna put the recipe, of course, in the description box below. But it's important to give your own twist to it. I mean, it's good to follow the recipes of these chefs like Gordon Ramsay and Nigella Lawson and Jamie Oliver, but always put your own stamp on it. Well, that's it for us. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thanks for viewing, and don't forget,
Veel fast, learn fast, keep grilling.
see you next time.